Okay, so welcome back to the Sutton Cup. This is the race stream now. There will not be a break. Drivers have all signalled to the marshals that they are okay to carry on for the rest of this race. And so are doing so. Drivers now leaving the bricks. We'll go have a quick rundown of the numbers again. So you can see there the only driver who is not here is Lloyd Hare in the number 4. All the other drivers are here and very, very excited to get their first race underway. So it's the last group of drivers just re-fired up and heading round to the grid now. Number 5, Isaac Layton, with the victory lap, leaving the bricks last. Won't obviously affect his grid position. Grid position is determined by the fastest lap in qualifying, as is fairly standard in motorsport. Kart numbers, however, I've been reliably informed, are in rough alphabetical order. Of course, for any Sutton Cup parents watching, the karts do change. So by next round, your driver will be driving in a different kart, but will have the same number. So it's kart number 1 this time. It'll be kart number 1 for the whole season, but we'll change the chassis. And that's the way we do it for all of our championships. It ensures a level playing field, just in case one of the karts is slightly faster. It makes sure that everybody gets that kart. So as the drivers form up onto the grid, floodlights are beginning to be switched on in anticipation for the Top Gun trophy, which is going to be starting later on at 7 o'clock. So in theory, immediately after this race finishes. So, as I said, this will be quite a long race for the championship drivers. We won't necessarily have done a session this long before. Should make things quite interesting towards the end of the race, as it will be about a 45-minute race, give or take a few minutes for this gridding up, so maybe 40 minutes total. Just a small delay in the start. Marshall's just double checking a position or a transponder. This of course won't come out of the race time. We only time to brake once the drivers are on the grid. That brake is finished and the race will start as soon as Marshall is clear and all drivers are in position. So I can't quite see from here who is on pole. Marshall's just double checking that kart by the looks of things. The revs go up, green light, and away we go. So as the Sutton Cup drivers head into stadium for the first time in a race situation, who is going to come out? The other is off on the grass in elbow, that's squeezed out. And I think first place at the moment looks as though it's Jake Sutton. And it is kart 9, followed by kart 7. Sebastian Morgan, and third place Connor Clark. So those top four snaking their way down onto the back straight. There's a contact warning for kart number 6, which is Harry Martin. He won't have seen that yet, and he's almost immediately going to be a lap down, unfortunately. Just hope he knows what to do in this situation. R1 just does slightly get in the way of the race leaders, but not intentionally, and not once. He needs to make sure he's leaving space for them as well as they come through. So the number 3 of Harvey Fox, not with the best of starts. Of course, Harvey is one of the taller drivers, one of the older drivers in this championship, so he will have a slight disadvantage down the straights, but it won't be anything major. So you can see he is keeping up with the driver ahead of him now. So Jake Martin runs a little bit wide. And a change for second place. Looks like Isaac Layton making a move, and Connor Clark getting up as well into second place. A little bit of contact, a bit of a chain reaction as they headed through pylon 1. Bumping, and a contact warning out to kart number 2, which is Connor Clark. So second place driver. And there he is. Oh, and a spinner at hairpin 2. I didn't quite see who that was. It looks as though it is the number 12, so that's Tyler Woolard. Didn't see the cause of the spin, but he's got some work to do now. Harry Martin and Isaac Layton. I think Harry needs to calm down a little bit. He had several warnings in qualifying and has had 2 in the race so far already. And we're only a few laps in. He needs to remember he will be getting a penalty if he's not careful. The arbitrary system for contact warnings is that it will be a 30-second penalty on his 4th warning. So if he receives 1 more, he'll be fine. If he receives 2 more, he'll be getting that penalty, unless we deem it to be negligible contact, but we have to give the warning, sort of thing. Spare kart being brought onto the bricks. I'm sure it's just a precaution for the time being. Oh, quite a lot of contact in this midfield battle. Drivers trying to find space, and that's a 3-way push. Drivers bumping the curb, and there will definitely be warnings for those. That is not an acceptable level of contact. Of course, with rookie drivers, we do try to cut them a bit of slack. They won't necessarily know where to draw the line, but I will have to speak to these guys afterwards and tell them that is not on. The contact warning goes out to kart number 7, which is Sebastian Morgan. I think he's in that midfield battle, and he is, yes. In fact, leading that midfield battle at the moment in 3rd place. And Isaac Layton losing a couple of positions in the last few laps, is now down to 4th. There's an ABC has gone out to kart number 7. Well, that is Sebastian Morgan, so he's going to have to give that position back, and he is slowing. Will it be enough? He'll have a full lap to give it back. If he hasn't even attempted to give it back, by the time he goes under the gantry the next time, he will be receiving a contact penalty. 30 seconds. I would assume that it is on the kart number 10, which is directly behind him at the moment. It doesn't look as though he is going to yield. It may give him the benefit of the doubt and show him again this lap. I think we are. Oh, and there's contact. Contact between those two drivers. This is going to let, I think that is, what is it, Leighton through the middle. So Sebastian Morgan losing a position, but not the correct position, as he didn't yield to the right driver. A yellow flag into stadium, a driver in the gravel being retrieved by the marshals now. So there's the race leader. Number 9, Jake Sutton. Let's have a look further down the grid. Second place still Conor Clark. Third place still Sebastian Morgan. Number 5 is in fourth. That is Isaac Leighton. I didn't quite have time to catch. And there, I think, as it is indeed the come-in board on the E flag for kart number 7, which is Seb Morgan. Going to be receiving his 30-second penalty for that ABC. And it is there. You can see it. Well, I can see it. For you, it probably is just a bit of a blur. So Louis Perrin going slow, I can see why. Oh, and that is a terrible error to make. It looks as though Sebastian Morgan's gone into the pit entry. That will cost him slightly more time. This driver, we do tell the drivers we don't use the pit lane for the Junior Championships. It will just be on the bricks if you're told to stop. So you can see him being retrieved by the marshals, pushed back out onto circuit after having his penalty, and that's going to cost him slightly more time. Of course, with an ABC, you get a 1 lap to give the position back, and if you don't, that's when there is an issue. Car 6 moving up now. Getting past the number 5 of Isaac Leighton. I think there may be a lap between them still. But he's good driving nonetheless. Drivers spreading out a bit now. The number 10 comes past me, that is George Watson. Number 11, I haven't seen much of Ryan Warrer. Whereabouts is he, I wonder? I'm going to go, I think, in that group in stadium now. So we'll follow them through and try and get Ryan Warrer on camera. But yep, there he is, ahead of number 12. So Ryan Warrer and Tyler Woolard running in formation as the 11 and 12 karts. Tyler having enough of that and getting past Ryan, maybe. Oh, and Ryan just yielding quite early into pylon 1. I can tell you, if you are one of our championship drivers and you're watching this, you are definitely going to want to watch the Top Gun trophy, which is coming up later on. All the top drivers from all of our championships taking part, and hopefully we'll see who is our champion of champions at the end of that 5-round mini championship. Of course, will be live streamed as well, so you'll have to be keeping an eye open for that one. And hopefully that is, I fully expect that to be a very, very close race indeed. The likes of Darryl Taylor, Cody Eustace, Sienna Gordon, Max Mottram, all in racing each other. Oh, and that may go down as an ABC. Just out of the corner of my eye, I saw that was the race leader on a back marker, so it may go as a contact warning. However, by the letter of the law, he wouldn't have made the overtake had he not made contact, so it should be an ABC in theory. Number 11 of Ryan Warrer heads through pylon into the S's, using a small amount of curb. As is so often the way with these junior championship drivers, they don't tend to use the curbs as much as their seniors do. Drivers that are not regulars down here, or may not have done a session this long before, I would expect to be getting slightly tired now. The total driving time of roughly 25 minutes. Still a long way to go. So only about 10 or 15, no, probably only 10 minutes into this race. Still a long way to go. A lot of time to make up if you can make a mistake, but quite enough time if it's a big mistake to really get your time back. And number 8 is Louis Perrin. It's through his pylon. So race leader still Jake Sutton. Connor Clark still in second. Now the number 6 running slightly out of position, I feel. Harry Martin may be a lap down. However, he is currently on track at least in third place. We get a yellow flag out into the stadium for a Spelman kart. Marshall there recovers the car and they're back underway. Green flags. Or metaphorical green flags, of course. Louis Perrin just adjusting his seatbelts there slightly onto his neck. Number 2, O'Connor Clark, still second at the moment. Having done a tuition with him, I can say he's a very competent driver, knows his stuff, lives and breathes racing. Has only recently found a way to take part. And putting those expertise and all of those hours watching motorsports and playing video games. It's a good use to pursue the sport that he really enjoys, and that is the main thing about this, and that is the enjoyment factor that goes along with this level of racing, especially for the rookies. It's a good way to get them into the karts, into the championships, so they can experience that and then decide whether they really want to take part next season. We very shortly will be accepting entries for next season, so it will be worth keeping an eye on your email inbox. We'll be contacting drivers individually to guide you into championships. As we see Harvey Fox. Going to take plenty of curb, I would have thought. It doesn't really. That's surprising. Again, one of the older championship drivers in general, let alone in this championship. Would tend to take a lot more curb than some of the younger drivers. So as I look around me now on the balcony, I can see quite a lot of Top Gun drivers starting to arrive, suss out their competition. A lot of these drivers won't have seen the entry list until they arrive to sign on today. It'll be how they decide how they think they're going to do. Just a stranded driver at Hairpin 2. I didn't quite see the cause of that. I'm sure it was just a small error on the driver's part, nothing more. There's an ABC. Goes out to kart number 1, which is Azer Asgar. Where is Azer? Let's have a look. And Azer is there, and he's pulling over. I'm not sure if he's quite understood the meaning of the ABC, but he is, in theory, going to be giving that position back. So as this race goes on, we're going to see more and more, for want of a better word, rookie errors. As these drivers get more and more tired. As you see there, Tyler Woolard, that is, turning around. It's an unusual place to spin. It must have been a reactionary spin, I would have thought. Necessarily wouldn't be out there. Normal racing. A little half spin there. I think that's Ryan Warrer. I have to say, working his way back up through the field, Harry Martin has got a good chance of doing quite well. not only in this race but in this championship, I feel. We just need to rein in the warnings somewhat and they'll be absolutely fine. So the race leader there, Jake Sutton, in the number 9. Just closing down on Harvey Fox. And they head down the back straight. So 2 of the elder drivers are in this open age group championship. So closing him down at a fair old rate of knots. Just seen Daniel Fields arriving for the Top Gun later on. Again, one of our more accomplished drivers, races in a few of our championships, does very well in all of them. Jake Sutton now putting Harvey Fox a lap down. Number 2 of Connor Clark, so far as I'm aware, still in second. I haven't seen any changing of positions from him. Doing very well as well, lapping drivers. Third place is tricky now. I'm not quite sure who is in third place. With the warnings and the penalties and the various incidents, it's been quite tricky to work out. Oh, and I'll move up the inside there. That hasn't quite worked. That was number 1 as there, Ash Asgar. Contact warning for car number 1. Due as there. So this inaugural round of the Sutton Cup. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Ashley Sutton, fighting for the British Touring Car Championship this year, is a Wright-House native. Learned his trade here, now works in a kart shop. So if you need any kit, come and see the British Touring Car Champion for this year. As we really sincerely hope, best of luck to Ash next weekend at Brands Hatch. Currently working on a McLaren program with a number of other high-profile drivers out in Abu Dhabi. At Yas Marina, the Grand Prix venue. Well, I'm reliably informed that Ash is staying in British Touring Cars. He's not going anywhere else for the foreseeable future. In honour of Ash, being the Jack Sears Trophy winner last year, as well as challenging for the title this year, we're going to be going and naming this championship the Sutton Cup. The Sutton Cup at the moment is a 5-rounder. Next year will be a full-scale championship. For those of you who don't know, we run the 9-round championships, plus the Winter Cup, which is of course in February and determines the race numbers for the rest of the season. A non-point scoring championship round, essentially a qualifier. The contact warning goes out to car number 5, which is Isaac Layton. Quite sure where he is exactly on the circuit. We follow the number 10 of George Watson. So, let's pitch him now. There we go. So as the live stream reaches the 30-minute mark, I would estimate we're probably 25 minutes into this race, which means there's another 20 minutes to go. A number of drivers speaking to me beforehand, slightly concerned about the length of the race. Hadn't done a session that long before. Will be something they've got to get used to relatively quickly. And they've kind of thrown them in at the deep end somewhat in new karts. Some of them new karts, some of them would have done a test session, as I said earlier. I know, for example, that Tyler Woolard has done a test session. I know that the race leader, Jake Sutton, also done a test session, which goes to show you how much, how valuable that time in the seat has proved for him. Wouldn't necessarily have been one of the absolute favourites coming into this race, but has performed very, very well indeed. To take the lead of this race and really dominated from lights to flag so far. When he goes to the undercut now and makes it stick. It's a lovely move that on number 5 of Isaac Layton. Number 1 of us there. This pylon again, but we are just going to skip over and have a quick look. This battle is about to emerge from behind the hedges at the stadium. That is Harry Martin in the white crash helmet. I can't quite see who else from here. It's the number 7, which is Sebastian Morgan. Going wheel to wheel. challenging any second now. Harry Martin, sorry, looking for that opportunity to finish off closing that gap and then get a move done. They close up on Harvey Fox, which I'm not sure if it's for position or not. He's going to have a look now into the S's. There's not a run there, but is there into pylon 2? Not yet, not this time. But he carries on, he follows down the straight in the slipstream, tucks in behind. Can he get, he's trying to go around the outside at elbow, that doesn't normally work, but he's drawn alongside. And if he can make that stick, that's very, very impressive, and he nearly does. Gets him up the inside into hairpin 2. Gets a better run out the corner, and that is job done. There's a yellow flag out at pylon 1. Oh, and there's a cut off down at stadium exit as well. A bit of side-to-side contact. Harry Martin and Harvey Fox going very much wheel to wheel there. You would have think Harry Martin's going to get him down the straight, being the smaller, lighter driver, and oh, doesn't quite. Fox with an excellent defensive move on the way into stadium, just holding his progress there. But now that small delay, he's going to try it. Oh, and he cuts him off again. He tucks in behind. Can he make a move in pylon? I don't think he's quite close enough. But maybe onto the back straight. He closes the gap further. Bumper to bumper as they go onto the back straight again. Contact warnings out for car 8 and car number 1, which is Louis Perrin and Ozair Ascar. And Harry Martin is past. So down the back straight, he tucked in, he got behind in the slipstream, made his move and has made it stick. So contact warning still out for car number 1, has now disappeared, so must have just taken the board. So as we approach the 40-minute mark on the live stream, there was about a 5-minute delay, I think, between that and the start of the race, so there could only be about 10 minutes to go. There's a yellow flag into hairpin 1 briefly, but that has tidied itself up nicely. Number 12 there, having not his best day of racing. number 12, Tyler Woolard. Jake Sutton now putting Louis Perrin a lap down. He can get past him, that is. Louis looking over his shoulder, trying to find out where he is. Oh, I think he's going to get him into stadium. Louis won't defend it. Doesn't need to defend it, of course. It's not for position. As Lucas racing in the debut cup comments. We can't wait to race on Tuesday. We can't wait to run it. It'll be live streamed, of course, so make sure your friends and family are on the group. Lucas, of course, was one of the first drivers to receive his club membership and invitation to the Rookie Cup. Which I can only assume one of the reasons that he is avidly watching tonight, trying to suss out the competition for next year. The final lap board is out. So this will be the last lap of the first round, the inaugural round of the Sutton Cup. And where is the number 9 of our race leader? I think trying to spot him now. I can't see him. I must have missed him. Is that him there? I think it might be. So the checker flag is going to be going out any second now. In fact, no, there, the checker flag out. So Jake Sutton takes the first win of the Sutton Cup. Drivers now slowing and stopping on the bricks. As instructed, the yellow flags are out. The number 2, Connor Clark, taking that first slot on the bricks, but I think he finished second. Provisional result, of course. I haven't seen the live timing. I can't actually clarify that at the minute. I didn't see any mistakes from young Sutton, so I would assume that he took the win. Perhaps not, having just stopped on the bricks now. So final drivers stopping now. And we're going to end the live stream there. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Top Gun coming up very, very shortly. So stay tuned for that. It's sure to be a very, very good race. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you again soon for more championship racing.